My next patron question is from Joshua, who wanted me to compare two early 2000s family films. Between the following two comedies that involve, as a major plot point, the main character and his best friends using pranks to get even with the villains, which is better, Big Fat Liar or Max Keeble's Big Move? Admittedly, I don't have the highest opinion of either of these movies, although they both certainly make for fascinating time capsules of 20 years ago. Regarding which one I prefer, I would have to give a slight edge to Big Fat Liar. Like I said, I don't find this to be a particularly funny comedy, although I should mention I did see it in theaters. Watching Big Fat Liar at that young age, I saw it as a scathing satire of Hollywood. Revisiting it several years later, it's actually fairly lightweight in how it depicts the film industry. There are even parts that make it look like a commercial for Universal Studios. Most of the jokes go for easy, cheap gags, and the film primarily descends into the kind of family comedy still trying to jump on the Home Alone bandwagon. Meanwhile, Paul Giamatti is directed to absolutely chew the entire scenery with his performance. It's amusing in his first couple of scenes as this producer, Marty Wolf, but he seems to get bigger and louder as the film plays on. At some point, even Giamatti cannot improve the material. The actors are watchable enough, though. The lead protagonist, Jason Shepard, played by Frankie Muniz, could have easily become an unlikable character, but Muniz plays him well, and there's at least a rooting interest in him stopping the producer. Amanda Bynes also provides a few amusing moments as his best friend Kaylee, and I'll also give Big Fat Liar credit for being short and brisk, as it quickly moves the characters from one comic situation to the next without wasting a lot of time. The movie primarily exists as a piece of child wish fulfillment, which I've noticed is an occasional theme in Sean Levy's work. Whether he directs a film about museum exhibits coming to life, getting to meet yourself from the future, or living in a house with multiple siblings. Even Stranger Things, a show he was instrumental in helping get off the ground, and for which he has directed several episodes, falls into this. I should probably also mention that this movie about a slimy producer getting his comeuppance because of his unethical actions towards a minor was written by, of all people, Dan Schneider. So now I wonder which one of his television shows was stolen from a teenager's school project. As for Max Keeble's Big Move, this film is just way too hyperactive for my taste. The opening scene is Max participated in a wacky chase scene with an ice cream man, played by an over-the-top Jamie Kennedy, and Tony Hawk also suddenly appears out of nowhere. The head-spinning, crazy editing and comedy of the first few minutes is prevalent through much of the rest of the movie, and it got to be a bit much. Even though this is a Disney movie, it actually feels like it's trying to go for more of that Nickelodeon-style humor. This is not a coincidence, by the way. Much like how Big Fat Liar was written by Dan Schneider, Max Keeble was directed by Tim Hill, who previously worked on a number of Nickelodeon shows and played a particularly important role in bringing SpongeBob SquarePants to the screen. Nick productions can be very charming when done well, like with Jimmy Neutron or Rugrats. However, they can also become grating to anyone who is not the target audience when they go for this let's go nuts and throw a bunch of gags at the wall approach. It does not help that I don't find Max Keeble to be a particularly endearing character. Alex D. Lynn certainly tries his best, but I never thought his actions made him someone I could root for. We get a lot of the expected scenes, like the cafeteria food fight, the bullies' all-familiar archetypes, and there's even the usual third act falling out with his friends, and to be honest, I don't entirely blame Max's friends. Larry Miller hams it up as the school principal, but he's not exactly given quality material to work with, and the role seems like a waste of his talents. Funnily enough, Max's father is played by Robert Carradine. The same year, he started appearing as Lizzie's father on Lizzie McGuire, and he's basically the same character here. I guess someone at Disney thought, well, you're already in costume, can you spend a few days over this other family comedy we're making? Max Keeble's Big Move mostly exists as an obvious product of the early 2000s, but I feel it lacks the charm and humor necessary to make it enjoyable beyond the obvious timestamp. Of course, you may disagree with me on that. Let me know in the comments whether you prefer Big Fat Liar or Max Keeble's Big Move, and thank you for your question, Joshua.